Hello and welcome to Color Commentary. I'm Unji.
I'm Matt.
And I'm also Joey. This is our first episode that we are recording of 2025. And it is the first video debut for Matt over here. So we're trying this out.
I don't like being on camera.
You don't like being on audio. And now I've leveled it up with camera. We'll see how it goes.
I like Twitch a lot and I have a lot of movements and I don't know what to do with my limbs when I'm not like doing something active. That's why I brought a coffee cup.
Do you want to hold on to the dog?
No, I'll do my coffee cup.
Okay, well, hey, Matt, it's been a while since you've been on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited. Start the new year supporting my lovely wife.
Thank you. Well, let's just jump right into it. Actually, we were supposed to do a different podcast episode about Inside Out, the lens of Inside Out from an Enneagram coach and also a psychiatrist. But each time we were about to record, we had a fight, and now it's kind of lost its momentum.
Is that why we didn't?
Yeah. But 2025, we're going to fight less. Is that right?
So far, we're majority of days without. It's
but fighting doesn't mean confronting. You can confront and resolve, right? We have done those, but fighting we haven't really done. So put her here. Starting off strong. Do you know why I like the number 2025?
Because you like multiples of 5.
And it has 2 multiples of 5. Actually, technically 3 because it's 20. There's 5 times 4. 25, 5 times 5. So there's 3 of the 5s inside of it.
What's the third one?
Huh? Dang it, 2025.
What's that? 2025 divided by 5?
Go.
405, I mean.
Cool. Okay. So Matt is also a math genius as well. Matt, what about your New Year's goals? Do you have any? And you've reflected about 2024. Is there anything you're proud of / 2025 want to move forward with?
Yeah, 2024, I think there was a lot of growth, like broadly. There's like a more firm financial foundation built up for the family. There's a more firm physical foundation. I was very diligent from February to the end of the year in working out again.
It hasn't even been a full year?
Yeah, less than a year.
Wow.
So I was extremely diligent in that once I picked her back up after a year and a half off. I think even maritally, we feel firmer, even when we have lows, but it feels like, yeah, we're on a foundation that's more rooted than in 2023. As a parent, I feel like life is more predictable and like manageable. Still a lot of chaos, but I feel like it is something I can anticipate now and kind of approach confidently. So really across the board, I actually feel like 2024 had a lot of like good foundation setting. So I actually don't feel like I have a ton of specific 2025 resolutions other than kind of like building off of it, right? Like if there's a lot of like layers to go. I mean, discipline and my faith, I think, would be a big one, like daily practices. But yeah, I think I adopted good things, but I just need to like build on them. So it's sort of a continuation of 2024 for me. How about you?
For 2024, that was the year that I transitioned from stay at home to stay at home, but without child at home. So I think it's been a struggle just like internally to navigate that. But I have been trying to explore different things. And one of the things being trying to create a course about Enneagram within the workplace. And so I think that's something that I feel like has brought me like purpose and structure and just like an experience in itself. Another thing I really enjoyed was when Joanne, who shout out in Arhua in Houston, invited me to do the Playdate project with her as she was working with Laura Is on that, Izumikawa. I think that was a really cool experience as well to learn about like the event planning side on a greater scale. And so I think I have these like big dreams, and I think my struggle with 2024 is like how to place these big dreams or big desires to use my talents into a place that will make me money, like, and make money in a way, I guess, that you make money. Like I would like to make money, you know?
Yeah, I mean, natural question.
For 2025, I do want to be like learning, how to be content with if maybe a job still doesn't come. I have been applying and that does feel discouraging. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure that stuff out, but also work on my health.
Yeah, we've bet everyone here has seen some Instagram posts lately.
If not, follow me at Kohler Crew, KOLLERKREW.
Yeah, you've been working hard.
I have been.
I hope this translates into me becoming a trainer as a side hustle.
Yeah, I mean, with the course building skills that I've learned, a side thing is while I want to do Enneagram and that's my expertise, I also think in the future I would like to create some sort of coaching programs for working out. And while you are the trainer, and I just kind of like make it come to fruition, which I think would be really fun. But that's like,
I want to make a fit stuff for myself.
yeah, but you're never going to actually do it. So right now you're just going to have to collaborate with me on my post until it inspires you to do it on your own. Because I think it would be great.
How have you felt? You've been basically out of exercise for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably in the worst shape you've ever been in.
Thank you.
No, I'm just saying, well,
I
it's
also
understandable.
had 2 babies
two kids,
and breastfed and watched them.
I'm just saying,
sure.
so like you've been in a long season completely removed. I'm curious how it has felt in these first couple of weeks, having a somewhat regular routine where you like get that physical sensation of like tiring yourself out.
I never do things. So within the Enneagram also there's like subtypes: self-preservation, social, and sexual, one-to-one chemistry. And self-preservation, which I think is one of yours, is like really working on like your environment or yourself in certain ways. All I know is I don't do anything just for like self-preservation purposes. So I think I'm trying to implement filming it for fun with each other, or like we worked out with Cindy and Tezong, so like a fellowship aspect to it. But just working out is something that doesn't give me joy like you do.
Is that because in your Enneagram type it's so much about like outward service that even the idea of working out is like an inward service that just isn't that appealing?
I don't know if it's like that black and white, but I think for me, someone that doesn't want to focus on my needs alone, because right with Enneagram 2s, it's like focusing on others' needs and not your own. And so for me, maybe I see like survival type stuff. Because I don't have a self-preservation instinct, I see survival type stuff as just for me. Therefore, it's not important. And I will ignore those if other people need other stuff or whatnot. And so the main reason I started working out when you were in med school was to spend time with you because you were so busy. It wasn't for or for physical goals, and it never was. Like I never ended that time thinking, oh yes, like that was such a gain. And then when we moved to Houston, I kind of had different friends and we kind of had a little bit better of a rhythm. And so that priority quickly fell.
Yeah, I feel like the urgency I have felt lately for you to start working out again is because I imagine a very realistic world where literally not that long from now, in like 4 years, you can't keep up with our boys and you'll be sad because we'll do stuff that you can't like partake in.
And then I think it'll hurt because in my head I'll be like, wow, I sacrificed so many things so I can spend time with you guys, yet you're just gonna leave me because you're physically superior.
No,
that's what I'm hearing right
naturally
now.
No, like if we go on like hikes on
like
a family
I would expect
trip,
you guys to just pick a hike that I would like to.
Like at some point they'll play like pick up sports and be able to like
I don't
want to
play pick up sports with them. That's for you them to play with their friends.
Well, I feel like that's something you'd want to do as like a family like hangout or a hike on a trip, just like stuff that
like my parents never played like pick up sports with us, but
I would
they played
imagine
tennis.
that's something you would enjoy.
Like things like tennis I can keep up with them. Things like basketball.
Not for long.
Oh,
that's right.
See.
But now maybe you will.
Our child is scared of water, so yeah, but I agree. Like I think it has been a worry for you, for me, and I think in 2025 it's not like I'm going crazy. Like you work out like 7 times a week, you know?
No.
6 times a week. I'm going to work out 2 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes max, and that's going to build a habit of enjoying. So if I don't want to do the 30-pound weights on each side that you do, then I'm going to put it down because I am just trying to enjoy that habit and also the time with you if I can, or like think of those things because I can't really see that as like it's a benefit for me physically. And I am sure it is, but I just don't really see that. I also want to cook 1 new meal a week. It doesn't have to be fancy, but like the tacos I made, the bulgogi tacos this past week, you know, just like something that makes it fun in there because I hate cooking with like all my heart. You become a mom, maybe you love cooking more, but once I became a mom, there's nothing more I've disliked because of like the things I cook. They don't even eat it. And then there's never a meal I don't have to be in charge of. I always have to be in charge of the meals. And what if I get sick? I don't even know if I'll have a meal on the plate, you know? Anyway, so I hate cooking. So one meal a week to keep it alive. And then my most important one will be to read the Bible daily, and not as a checklist, but just to really enjoy and delight in God's word. In this new year, it's been a joy to go into the word and ask God to just help me relearn who he is. And I think in that, I would like to also regrow my friendship with you, because I think in the past 5 years, I know I love you just like I know I love God, but at the same time, I don't think I've desired a friendship with you. So we actually came off of a date right now. And honestly,
really
probably
nice.
one of the first times I was looking forward to this date prior, because I think we don't go on many dates. So it's not like I felt like this a long time, but when we go on these dates, in my head, it's because I know we should, so that we focus on our marriage, or like, oh, I know we should have this time together. But it was never like an excitement, or if the excitement was there, it was, oh, because we're going to get a break from the kids. But just like a genuine excitement to spend time with you, honestly, that has not been there. And I think it was reciprocated in certain ways. And so I think those two things also, I hope, grow hand in hand.
Yeah, no, that's a goal. I agree.
Anyway, so with the time that I have been having, what did I recently watch?
Starting Five.
What is Starting Five?
It's a Netflix show that follows the lives of 5 NBA stars. And it gets you a sneak peek into all the behind the scenes of their personal lives and their habits. And
yeah,
it's interesting.
And it's like they follow the behind the scenes for the previous season, right?
Yeah,
it's not like it's like
they gotta film it and then
right. It's not like it's like their documentary from birth or anything. It's like within that year. And so, do you know who the 5 were for the first season?
I know, yes.
Like, I'm just quizzing you.
LeBron James. Jayson Tatum.
How do you spell Jason?
Jayson. Domantas Sabonis.
What's his nickname?
She didn't even want to watch the show because she saw this white man who she didn't know who he was, and she was like, "Why would they choose this guy?" And
By
he's
the
great.
way,
He's such
the dinner place we just went to, I was the only person that was of color. I mean, I know you're like half color, but I was the only person of full color in that restaurant. It was all white people. Yeah. It was a good restaurant, but anyways, yeah. I did not want to watch.
He came across the best of like anyone on the whole show.
Oh, I don't know. Agree with. What do you mean?
Well, just as
what do you
like
mean came across?
Anyways, Jimmy
What's his
Butler.
nickname? What's Domantas' nickname? Domas.
Oh, I thought you meant nickname like the King as LeBron James.
No.
That's just a shortened version of his name.
No, Domantas. Domas. That's okay.
Jimmy
Continue.
Butler and Ant Edwards.
What's Ant's full name?
Anthony Edwards.
What's his nickname? Bruh. Ant-Man. You don't even know.
I said Ant Edwards.
You don't even know. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of talk about it. It's a fun way to break it down with you, right? But also, I'm going to talk about what I think their Enneagram types are. And that's a way to educate you as well. Because every time I ask you an Enneagram question, even though I've been doing this and having this podcast, you still don't know.
Should I guess them all?
Yes.
I have no idea. And I also don't really know what almost any of the Enneagram numbers are well. But I think Domantas is like me, so he's probably a 9.
Okay, but I already told you that.
You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did.
I didn't listen.
You responded to that and you said...
I didn't remember.
I said, he's literally you. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, no wonder he's a great guy. You said that when I was watching it.
I didn't remember when I just said that.
Okay. So he's like you. What are you?
Not a 9.
Enneagram 9, the peacemaker.
Yeah, he's just very like kind and calm and put together. He responds well. He is like... Yeah, a very good demeanor. I think Jimmy Butler is an 8.
Oh, are you looking at my...
It's right? Yeah. No, maybe this has just come into my head over...
I didn't talk to you about any of the other ones.
You talked about any of them.
His was hard for me. I'm in between some for him, but I did land on an 8.
Oh.
What is the 8?
Challenger. But that's like the only other one I know the name of.
Yeah.
I think...
You don't know my type's name?
No. Oh, the servicer.
Do you know my number?
2.
Okay, anyways, continue.
Ron's probably a 3.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really, I've been picking up the vibes when you talk. See, I do listen.
I know.
Oh, Jayson Tatum. Oh, 7?
What is a
I
7?
don't know.
Then why'd you say the number? Who's someone he reminds you of? Or
I just remember 7 being like a more like boring number.
no, 7 is like one of the party of
Oh,
life.
okay. Then I completely misremembered that.
7's like Steph. Steph is
Ant
7.
7. He is? Oh. I don't know. Like,
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Wow, that's really accurate because I was not sure if Ant is a 7 or something
I
else.
have no idea what a 6 is or a 4 is or a.
So I
Oh,
think
oh wait. Back to
Jayson.
Tatum. 5.
Why?
What's a 5?
5 is the investigator, the analyst.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That's what like.
That's a
kind of-
good guess. I put 1, the reformer, the perfectionist, very disciplined, kind of like a Pastor Yoon.
I could see LeBron being a 1 also.
Yeah, so LeBron, I was in between 1 and a 3. Wow, this is great.
I'm good at this.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll just piggyback off of you. Wow, I didn't even have to come with these numbers. Hey, high
Good.
five. You do
Psychiatrist
care.
at heart.
Dr. Kohler. So I did write like a little like snippet just so that I can write it and then if you want to comment on anything. So for Domantas Sabonis, I put Enneagram 9, the peacemaker, because he brings a calmness and a joy and like not like a ostentatious joy, but just like a humble joy.
I feel like his wife compliments him very
Yeah,
well.
his wife seems assertive and it seems like it's good that he's not like not in a
She's,
bad
like,
way,
supportive,
confidently
assertive.
supportive. Yeah. So I do agree. And she like was within the cheerleaders or something and never wanted to date a basketball player, but then it ended up being like the perfect guy. Even like for prioritizing his loved ones, I think that you don't have to be a 9 to do that, but also like there's just like such a humility beyond just his work. For me, it's like when he says he trains in Spain or trains somewhere in Europe on the
His
summers.
family's from there.
Yeah. And he goes there in the summers and he still trains and does his work, but he does it somewhere that brings him like a happiness or a peace. And I think
would do
that's,
that.
and I thought of you when he did that. I was like, you would travel somewhere else, but still do your workouts or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so I see that kind of work ethic. He thrives where the connection and the happiness are at the forefront. Like you don't sleep on 9s. They also have a very strong competitive and diligent spirit, but I think the connection and happiness kind of overpower it. And so that's something I noticed about him. And yeah, even like his desire to make sure that he keeps that harmony for his family. Maybe it wasn't there when he was a kid following his dad around, but I think maybe even that he just had to go with the flow, and like Enneagrams form when you're younger. And I think there is like a go with the flow that happened naturally. And then how does he make that harmony happen for him and his family? So I feel like it was pretty textbook. I don't have to elaborate more. Why do you feel like you resonated with him as a 9?
Everything you said.
Okay. Also, no, maybe a little bit of Domas, but also a little bit of Tatum. Those two mixed together is why I love Dirk. And you know what? I'm pretty sure Dirk would be a 9. And I married someone like Dirk is the only celebrity I've ever like loved. It's kind of interesting.
I think 9s are just really great, like people.
Yeah, but you know I put him first because I thought it's nothing special. Let's move on to the others.
Well, it's nothing
Nothing
out
bad.
there.
Yeah.
But the package.
Yeah, it's great.
is the
It is.
best.
Like, I think the wife said it best. Like, she would never date a basketball guy because they're not like him, you know? But he is like, broke the rules for her in the best way. So LeBron James is an Enneagram 3, but I was fighting about it for a lot with the Enneagram 1 because he has a lot of reformer. He has a lot of justice, right? Okay, so you can help me kind of hash it out.
Go
then, I
through a
guess.
3 again. I have a decent idea what
So the
a 1
3 is an achiever and a 1 is a perfectionist. So when I think about LeBron, I actually think maybe kind of like on the lens of my sister, who is also a 3, but has this huge like reformer justice mindset. And there's a subtype. The self-preservation 3 looks like an Enneagram 1, where they're very disciplined. There's more of like a image based on right and wrong. There are those type of things. But when you think through like triads, right? For a heart triad, they are feelings based. And then they also really have this desire for significant identity. And I do feel like LeBron's desire for this like legacy that's beyond himself. And for him, it's like his family and his kids. I feel like that's what made me land on him being a 3 over a 1, because there's just way too much desire for like this identity portion. And there was one part of starting 5 where he said like, sometimes like I'm always up here. Like, I think I'm above the heavens, even like something where like he believes he's like way up here. And then he has to remember, oh wait, okay, my family's still down here. And not in like a condescending way, but like he needs to come back down to them and remember them in that way. And so it's kind of like, for someone that is a 3, like there's this like, I can achieve anything. I'm the greatest. And like, I don't know. I feel like that kind of mindset, it doesn't mean he doesn't have these like strong 1 characteristics, but it made me ultimately land with the 3, because he also has this like workaholic, and he's balancing so many things. He does like the businesses, the schools, like all these things. And not that other people can't do that, but 3s seem to do that so like seamlessly and so assertively in a way that I feel like he is a 3, but his 1 is very strong, especially like raised by a single mom, a lot of commitment to his community and like loyalty to his community. But then the loyalty maybe has a path of a 3-6, where the loyalist is a part of that path in itself. But I think like when it comes to, he said like, my legacy for me is indisputable. It's not my like greatest of all times, but more than that, it's like greatest of all times with his kids. And he even pushes to do certain things like being the first ever father-son duo in a team. Like those are things that he wants for his legacy. And while that is important, I feel like it's so important to him that he'll make it happen in the by the right way.
I think that's fair.
But what do you think?
I would agree. I think I would lean the same way.
But other thing, when I was watching LeBron a lot, there was like, when he was in the playoff games, I will say one thing. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but starting 5 did a slow-mo on the European Denver Nuggets guy. So much.
Jokic?
Yes. And it was so mean because he looks so ridiculous. He's just like running.
They
like,
do it because he's so big. Not big. Like he's such an important player.
I know. Oh, he just kept saying like they're doing him dirty because he looks so weird.
No, they do it because like he catches people's attention. He's the best player in the world.
Like they would slow mo Jokic and then they wouldn't slow mo LeBron running the next scene. So I'm like, why they keep slow mo?
They probably just want to get some.
That's true because he was MVP and stuff.
He's
that
literally
year.
the best player in the world,
right
almost
now too.
Undisputedly. Yeah, right now.
How come they're not following him?
Dude, they have to agree to it. He's incredibly private.
Oh.
He like as soon as the NBA ends, he
goes,
leaves and takes care of his horses. No, literally,
I wonder
that's what he's known for.
He's probably like a 5 or something.
He's whatever does not want to be in the spotlight.
Next, let's talk about our 8s. I think we have 2, Jimmy and Ant. When you think of Anthony Edwards, do you not think of Alex Nom? Like someone that's like, I wrote this here. He's like he is annoying, but then you love him. He is a lovable Shecky, like Alex Nom. I wrote that down in my notes.
That's fair.
Like I think Alex is actually textbook 8, but a strong wing 7, like super strong. But I think he's an 8. So I think that's why I was like, is he a 7 or is he an 8? But I landed on him being an 8. I could be wrong. Like I love how you also try to go between the two. So 7 is like the enthusiast, the adventure seeker. They don't want any type of pain, not trapped, not limited, not bored. So that also could describe him. And 8 is they do want to be in power. They want to like no one can really tell them what to do. They'll be a rebel in its own way of like trying to push the boundaries.
Jimmy Butler's definitely an 8.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the core.
So growing up, he had a lot of people leave his life, like die. Like his mom, his grandma, like those things also affect you in terms of like your independence and your drive. I don't know. So like he's someone I was like struggling with because the moment I want to like hate him, he'll be like, Kyrie, I don't want to talk about him. He was too good. Like I admit it. I like he'll say stuff in a mean way, but he's actually admitting his fault or like.
Yeah, did you follow like the Olympics and stuff?
No, I did not. I've been a mom for 5 years. I'm trying to come back now.
He's one of the most, I think, like likable NBA players.
Yeah.
Even though he's one of the most abrasive.
Yeah.
Like he's the only like player I've ever seen walk a line where he's like super cocky, but he's super likable because he like can also at the same time like he does it out of a competitive spirit, but then he's willing to admit the other side. Like,
Yeah,
they were in
that's
the
what I
playoffs.
just said.
They were in the playoffs against the Suns, and he was like
KD,
crap
what he
talking
swept.
KD
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, and I
But
was
it
getting
came
annoyed.
across so well after because
Yeah, he
yeah, that's his idol.
Yeah.
And he doesn't back down. He does in the moment, but then
Yeah.
he like gives him his props.
Yeah.
And he
So I
puts him
feel
on
like
a
that
pedestal.
kind of person is an 8. He gives it his all, but then he'll give due where it needs due. Like he gives it all even in his smack talk, you know? Like it's not like
Yeah,
he gives it
he
his all
does.
in excellence. He gives it his all in like the yap. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Like in the Olympics, he before the Olympics, it was like a big deal because he would talk about how he was the alpha. Like, and this was with Steph, LeBron, and KD, and like he's not changing his game for anyone. He's the alpha, and
Like not changing his game for anyone. Why? Like so.
but then he does. And in the Olympics, he like was such a good teamate,
Yeah, and I
so
feel like that's Alex too. Alex is such a good friend, but he like talks
but verbally, he like
I love you, Alex.
he doesn't change who he is and
Right.
his mindset, but his mindset like drives his greatness.
Yeah.
But he's also like real in like he doesn't take away from other people. It's like super rare. I've almost never seen an athlete do it like he does.
Yeah, I got so 짜증나, like frustrated with
Yeah,
Anthony.
he's also childish
Yes.
in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And like, but I really liked. He was probably my favorite character to analyze and watch during starting 5. And I think it sounds like he's like one of the kids' best favorite. Like growing up, he's gonna be.
He
someone.
was the favorite. He was like the little brother of all the GOATs in the Olympics. Steph, LeBron,
Is
KD.
Alex not the little brother to all of you guys?
Yeah. No, and the analogy is very accurate
It's
with
like
Alex.
it was crazy because like I think Alex is high 8 and high 7, but he's an 8, you know? And I feel like because like me, I'm a high 2 and I'm a high 3, but I'm definitely a 2. And I
That's
feel
fair.
like
His
it's like I couldn't shake out that analogy.
his normal person analogy is definitely Alex Knopp, personality wise.
Oh, and there was one part where like his wife or his girlfriend of one of his babies was like saying like, yeah, he loves the pressure, and she was like, I don't know why he always has to wait till the very end because he's always gonna pull through, but why does he wait till the end? Because like you never know what's gonna happen till the end. And I was like, that's how I feel about Alex sometimes.
But
I'm
Alex would never trash talk his youngs in the way that Ant does.
That's true.
Ant's
That's true.
more bold in his abrasiveness to like everyone.
Yeah, that's true. Like Sam trash talk no matter what too, you know.
Yeah, but he's still most like Alex.
Yeah.
He's a little more over the top in that way.
Yeah. I mean, he's also like a
he's also one of the most
I bet
best
if
players
Alex
in the
went
world.
to that direction, he would probably be trash talking you guys. But that's why I landed on an 8. Any more thoughts?
No, it's interesting.
Yeah. So then Jimmy, okay, I like how you said 8 because I also was thinking 8, but he has such this like creative side. So I
Yeah,
was battling
very.
a lot because I was like, is it a 3 wing 4? Like 4s are super creative, like expressive in their own way. So 4 is the romanticist.
The reason why I'm so confident is what I know about him beyond the show. Like as a basketball player, it's like very clear that
yeah. Okay. Well,
challenging.
I
side.
have come to the 8, and mine is only just watching this show. So it's nice because I was like, oh, is he? But I will choose 8. And to hear you confidently say that makes me. Why do you say that so confidently? If you could say a little bit.
As a teammate, he's like the ultimate challenger. He doesn't let anything go. He doesn't let anyone slack off. He's really famous for this one practice where he was getting so pissed off at all like the other starters, better players, that he took all the worst players on the team, like the bench players. He put himself on the team with them in a scrimmage against all the other top players and destroyed them because like he just wanted to show them that like they're nothing. Like he was like putting them through the fire because he was like so pissed off at like how they were
Treating.
acting and perform, not treating the other people, like their demeanor, their
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could see a 4 doing that too.
No, but he's like a Kobe, like doesn't let
Kobe's
any.
a 3
What?
wing 4.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking
I
that
don't know. You know
that
Kobe.
challenger aspect. Like he doesn't let anyone.
Like I would see my brother doing something like that, making something like that, kind of just to show you that you can't. And my brother's a 4.
But it's like the reason why he doesn't do it to show them up.
Yeah.
He does it to
Shut them up.
to like reveal to them that they're
remind them of their place.
They're not above.
The power.
They're not above. Not even power. They're not above like trying their hardest. Not above. It's like a leadership role. Like it's not to make them look bad.
I would say that's more a 3 then.
Oh really?
Or I don't think that means it's just an 8. Like I still think he's a
Actually, I guess the only reason I'm saying just an 8 because I associate 8 with
challenging.
Let's just call it challenger.
You're just saying the.
So I'm just literally using that word. So I actually could be wrong.
Well, I did. So I was thinking 8 wing 7 or 3 wing 4. But yeah, I do think he uses like things like creativity for an expression of his, I guess, power, not like in a bad way, but like you told me to watch the Architectural Digest where he shows his house, and in each house it's kind of like this room. If I don't want anyone in here, I don't have to let anyone in here. Cause I do what I want. Like it's very like no one can tell me otherwise.
What's the number for someone who's like unabashedly themselves?
Unapologetic. I wrote that right here. I said he's unapologetically.
Yeah. He's very quirky. Like he's a coffee connoisseur. Like he'd rather be like a barista than like a basketball player almost. And
he has a whole brand.
He has a whole brand, and he does it. And he does a lot of things that are kind of weird, but he does them and he like does not care. Like when he did his hair on media day.
Because I remember so we're talking about the day he like straightened his hair in an emo way. And as like just a wife that has seen that clip long time ago, I was like, oh, he's interesting, like, but then through starting 5, I realized why he did that. And I was like, that's hilarious. Like that's so much personality. That's hilarious.
He just doesn't.
So I guess from the 4s that I do know, maybe I would think that's not that. So I would think 8. Yeah. Well, I put 8. But yeah, I wrote the word unapologetic, and I wrote like even his like something I was trying to think of was like his love for music. And while his love for music is not just like a source of fun, but I think it's his independence or like his own way of like bringing a different type of power into his room or his house and stuff like that. I don't know. I wrote power a lot. I don't fully feel like 100% confident, but I do feel like he is an 8, and he's willing to challenge norms and assert his own identity into that. And yeah, so I feel comfortable with that. And I think like there was something when I was trying to tie it to upbringing, because a lot of in this clip they kind of show like how they grew up and whatnot. What he was like left as a teenager or something, like kicked out or something like that. I think there's a lot of signs that maybe just like showed me certain things. And then any questions on Jimmy?
No, but yeah, I like him.
I like him too. I think he was actually one of my more favorite players. Yeah, just as like a whole. And I hope he does win a championship, because I think
his teams aren't enough, but he's thought very highly of, because he always outperforms what they should. So people actually, one of the rare sort of superstars, borderline superstars, that it's not really held against him that he hasn't won a championship, because what he's achieved in the playoffs is pretty remarkable despite not winning a championship. He's known as like a very elite playoff performer. But most people, if they don't win one, that's always held as like a big black mark, but not less for him.
Interesting. And then last but not least is I was so happy with Anthony Edwards though. I was like happy and sad because I was like rooting for him that we beat him. Yeah. Because it was showing like.
But then y'all got smashed.
I know,
by Jayson Tatum. Yeah. Good segue.
Good transition to Jayson Tatum. So you think he's a 5?
He's boring AF. That's not really good, really great guy. But for the show,
that's usually an Enneagram.
Yeah. He was the least the one person that they could have done without. But he won the championship.
But yeah, cool. You had to follow. I
didn't know that. They picked up before. It just happened to be one of them on the championship.
You're right. Well, I mean, you had to, because I heard his name all the time too. Like he should have won one before this past year.
Warriors beat them.
I know.
That was great.
But for Jayson Tatum, I chose an Enneagram 1, the perfectionist, the reformer, because I think he's very disciplined. So ones are right, like about right and wrong, and kind of like being good, not bad, and certain things. So that sometimes it's hard to fully land on it, but I do think like seeing his relationship with his parents. Oh my gosh! After that one game where they won the playoffs, but then in the debrief hall, they both like, so let's talk about those missed free throws, or like his dad was just like, like this. And then his mom was like, yeah, you missed like 2 or 3 or something. And then it's like, yeah, like what the heck, who, like something, like they're just bashing it. I know like that's just regular talk for them, but then there's this other person on the side. I was like, guys, we won. That, and then like there was one statement his dad made of like, growing up, he wasn't allowed to swim because swimming was energy he could not afford to lose because of the discipline he needed for his purpose of basketball. And so for me, it's like, I think, and with right, like one of the biggest criticisms about him is that under pressure, under criticism, he's like folding. And I think there's a big inner voice within of like all these different voices, whether it's his family members or something like that. So I was thinking between a 1 or a 6, because there is a big inner voice or an inner committee for 1s and 6s that tend to like fill up the brain. But when you describe a 1, it's often the consistency, the discipline. He literally has the same barber since he was 11. Like he loves that kind of history, like that kind of like depth. I feel like Pastor Yoon would have the same barber if he could as 11.
Maybe.
I don't know. So what do you think he is?
He's responsible. I think he's predictable. I mean, he's like very, takes his craft seriously. Like he's like kind of a perfectionist, I think, in what he does. He's reliable. He's boring. Not in a bad way, as like a person.
He's not the normal athlete performer.
Yeah, he's not an entertainer as much.
Like it was so funny watching KG, Kevin Garnett, previous Boston superstar, talk about
Boston superstars tend to be obnoxious and
Paul
very,
Pierce.
very hateable.
Yeah.
There's actually this guy named Brandon Jennings on a podcast recently called, and he's on one of those podcasts that they kind of say outlandish stuff sometimes, but he called Jayson Tatum the softest superstar in Boston history. But I think soft, right? He's just describing someone who is more like no nonsense and calm and just like chill. But he says soft, which I think is a ridiculous statement. But it's that idea, because I think he presents himself so just like go with the flow, calm, not a lot of emotion. But yeah.
I feel like I landed, it was like either a 1, or there are some like quieter 3s that are still image conscious, because he like does really care about certain things that are image based.
I don't think that would be as, 1 seems pretty good.
On like one of the websites that do these type of things for fun with celebrities, they put him as a 3, but I didn't agree.
He had almost the opposite outcome of the Olympics though, as Ant. Ant came out of the Olympics looking super lovable. He did well, but he also took a back seat. He kind of yielded to the superstars, but was like big little brother. Jayson Tatum played really bad, ended up getting like no playing time. This was after he won a championship, was like best player in the world, got the highest contract in NBA history.
Okay.
And then he got like no playing time in the Olympics. He was like one of the last people off the bench. It was like very awkward. And he came out of the Olympics, I think, with a lot of people either defending him, be like, how is like the guy who's the best player on the team just won the championship, how's he not getting any playing time? But then the other people being like, oh, like you don't deserve that if you're not performing, and you know it's earned, not given. And that he came out looking like,
was he mad about it?
Less than all the other elite guys. No, he took it really well. I think he was super mature about it, but it was kind of awkward because he's not that. He doesn't say that much, but you could tell he was like hurt by it, like emotionally hurt by the process. But he took it overall very maturely. But he had probably the worst Olympic experience out of anyone on the basketball.
I'm getting
USA
a little
team.
bored talking about this now. Thank you.
It's interesting.
Some things that were said in the show that made me also land on a 1 is he said, I want to leave the world a better place than was left to me. Well, I think I read this actually in an article that he wrote like when he was in 4th grade. Some girl was like, Jimmy is someone that naturally and organically grows in this space. So not as like assertively or like superstar wise, but like very naturally organic. I feel like that's go 1. You just like, it's very organic.
You said Jimmy.
Oh, oops.
Jayson.
I'm thinking about Jimmy. Jayson. They showed something about his home. And when I looked at his home and how his child was playing, I was like, that child knows like order. I feel like that his home creates peace and order. And order is huge for a 1 as well. He's willing to take less shots for the team. if the team were to win. And like there was like arguments about like Jaylen Brown or Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum, who's the best. And like, you know, that he just saw that as disrespectful, but he wasn't like hurt or like saying like he's, you know, it was very like, I feel like if that was like a LeBron and somebody else, he'd be like, it would be a different type of conversation. So all those different things, but I feel like he also just had a lot of like talking around his head growing up. And then at the end, there was the white lady who's like a broadcaster.
Doris Burke, maybe.
Oh, that was her?
I don't know.
She looks shorter. I knew Doris Burke. I used to want to be her.
It might not be. I don't remember.
I don't think it was. But she said like people would ask like, does he need to be an asshole to win? Because that was like the question. Like maybe he just doesn't have that asshole factor. But it's like, no, trust the process. Anyways, but she was just saying like, oh, that he just needs to trust his process, his experiences, and his work. And I think he was maybe trying to find the right way to do it because of others, but he found his way. Yeah. And then he says, you don't have to be like everyone else. You can be yourself. Being yourself is good enough. Clearly, I did it. And that's the end. Yeah. So even though I didn't like watching him the whole show, I did enjoy the way they wrapped him up.
Yeah.
At the end.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. So, wow, Matt, you got 100. Jayson Tatum, you didn't. But that was hard. So we ended with saying that Domas is an Enneagram 9, the peacemaker. LeBron is an Enneagram 3, the achiever. Do you feel good about that after the one conversation? Jayson Tatum is an Enneagram 1, the perfectionist. Jimmy Butler is an Enneagram 8, the challenger. And Anthony Edwards is an Enneagram 8, the challenger. Keep in mind, you should never really type people for real, but this is a little fun thing we decided to do. And also, if you are any of these 5 from the last season of Starting 5 and you want to take the test and let me know what you really are, I would love that. So if you see the graphics coming up where I put your face.
I'm trying to get the next guest NBA player, superstar, Anthony Edwards on the show.
Anthony or Jimmy? I think Jimmy Butler would be fun too. He has like all these wines. I would love to.
He's quirky enough where he would come on an unknown person's show as a fun thing.
I would love to have him open up one of his Sassica wines that he had with Mark Wahlberg and, you know, let me in on that. Yeah. So that was my way. And I mean, yeah, this was really fun to watch. And I will say this is smart because now I am reinvested in the NBA. And so if you are also wives that may be a little bit about stuff like this when their husbands watch sports, or maybe that's just a stereotype, watch Starting 5. It's pretty fun. It's a fun way to kind of like think up things outside just the game in itself. And I also really loved how they put some of the youngest players, like 22, 23-year-old Anthony and 26 Jayson Tatum with like some of the veterans like LeBron and Jimmy. Jimmy's been around for a while. So...
yeah.
Do you know who the next 5 are without looking?
Jaylen Brown, the other Celtic. James Harden, Clippers. This is gonna be funny.
Is he funnier than Jimmy?
He's not that funny, but his life revolves around strip clubs and partying. So
one of my friends worked for James Harden like 10 years ago and said he was an absolute like D word to work with.
Sure. Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. What is
That'll
he?
be cool.
Suns still?
I love that guy. Yeah, he's still Suns. Was Trae Young one?
No. But Ty Reese.
Oh, Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, that dude's a great guy. Lovable, kind of like.
Can you describe them a little bit? Because I don't know Tyrese at all.
He's also on the USA team.
But what's his team?
Pacers.
Okay.
Point guard. He's goofy, like very free spirited.
Okay.
And then LaMelo?
Shy.
No, I wish it was LaMelo. Shy.
What's his last name?
Gilgeous Alexander, Canadian.
Is he like a Domas?
No. I actually don't know that much about his personality. He's one of the best 5 players in the NBA now.
What does he play? He's tall?
He's a guard.
No,
a shooting guard.
Okay.
For the Thunder.
Okay, well,
he'll probably win MVP
I'm going to be watching these. Oh.
Yeah, it's either going to be him or Jokic, but he's the favorite.
Well, we will now be tuning in for 2025. My other goal is to watch these games so that when this season does come out, I feel like I will be replaying some of these stats or like these replays.
We'll at least watch the playoffs closely together.
Yeah, and these will stick out for that reason.
I know you've been working on a lot of your stuff, so tell me about what's in the pipeline.
Well, you know that I have an Enneagram workshop for the workplace coming out February 12th. It is live, but you can also get a replay. And it's just talking about the different dynamics that can happen within the workplace and then like teaching what Enneagram types look like, because we invest so much of our time at work that it is helpful to understand whether it's yourself as a worker or also others. And so before we close, hopefully we don't have that much time before our battery runs out. I wanted to show or share like what a pain point might be for an Enneagram 9 at work and see if you resonate with one of them, and you can choose. Okay. So an Enneagram 9 might have an interpersonal conflict pain point where they might have a difficulty asserting their own ideas in group settings, because not because like they don't believe in themselves, but maybe just not like speaking up when others are. Or a more nuanced pain point for them might be feeling stuck in repetitive or uninspiring work. Could you maybe speak on one of those?
Yeah, probably the latter.
I picked that one for you, actually, so good job.
I think it's because a lot of times when I approach work, I just want it to be as painless as possible. But with that, it can also take away sort of the other side, the other emotional side of like valuing the work and getting like emotionally invested in it or passionate about it, because I want it to be as little negative impact on the rest of my day in terms of like my energy or my like my mental stress that goes into it. So I think it keeps me like very neutral, and I'm just like there to get it done. Like I like a lot of times see my work as purely as a provisional part of my life. Like I work to make the rest of my life happen. Even though I do like very valuable work, I don't think about that value that often. I just kind of get through my day to supplement the rest of my life. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you found an answer or a solution to that pain point?
Not really. I usually just am okay with it, but then it kind of annoys, because that can like really burn out, right? Like if you're doing the same thing day in and day out and you're not like vividly kind of engaged in it. So when I think about it, I think like idealistically, I would like to feel differently about like the routine of it. And there are certain cases that kind of like gets me into that headspace, but I'd say that's few and far between. The majority, I just kind of like am ready to get through the day to get onto the parts of my life that I like do it naturally emphasize more like emotionally. But
Okay. Well, these are things that I will share some thoughts or tips or tricks about in not just the workshop, but whether it's one-on-one coaching or people that do feel stuck within different areas of their life.
what is it like working with you?
Well, I do have a testimonial up from one of my longer clients who has been with me for 2 years now. She said, "My experience working with Josephine has been more than rewarding. Our sessions range from career coaching to life goal setting to personal relationships. It's extremely helpful to have a space to reflect on, and Josephine has helped me reach invaluable impact on both professional and personal fronts. I am impressed by her professionalism without sacrificing her warm human side and would recommend her to any future clients."
Well, 2-year relationship in this kind of space is a long time too.
Yeah. So maybe you resonated with one of us as a 2 or a 9, or you have your own that you would like to talk about. I have all of these that we can talk through as well. Would love to just work with people in this way. So you can email me at Kohler Commentary, KOLLER Commentary, COMMENTARY @gmail.com. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. And hopefully we can do this again in 6 months. All right. Well, I will have another episode with you soon. I think you guys like me and Matt's talking. Hopefully you can give him some love on his video today. And thank you for listening to, I'm trying to hold your hand. I don't want to hold your hand. Thank you for listening to another episode of Kohler
Commentary.
Commentary. Bye.
Bye-bye.